Hello, today we're going to start to make arepas. Is the Puerto Rican tortillas, I suppose, is our own kind of bread that we make. And the ingredients that we're going to need for the arepas are going to be flour, all-purpose flour. I like the King Arthur because it's a better flour. I'm using mazola oil, but you can use vegetable oil for that as well. We're going to use salt, and we're going to use sugar. And those are the ingredients. That's all you need to make the arepas. I'm going to move over and start putting the ingredients into the mixer. And oh, I missed one more thing. We need the yeast, and the yeast that we use is there. It is. You want the rapid rise. That's the one that you want. You want to make sure that you have the rapid rise. I buy it already in a jar, but they also sell it in a packet. And the amount that you just need is just one full packet for that. Okay? Coming right back. Okay, so what we need is 4 cups of flour. I'm just going to take this. And you'll see that I'm not like completely measuring it. I'm just scooping it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? And then we're going to need a tablespoon of the yeast, but we'll wait till we have everything else in it. We're going to need 2 teaspoons of salt. And you know, this is to taste. To me, this is the right amount. Oh, my nails doesn't let me open this up because I got the gloves on. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna put in here 1, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 3 tablespoons of sugar. Again, that is going to be to your taste. The 3 tablespoons, 1, 2, and 3. I'm just going to put a little bit extra. It's going to make it have some sort of sweetness in there, but it's not really. It's that kind of a thing that it's there, but it's not there. So, and then we're going to need 1/3 of a cup of oil. I'm going to kind of mix this up a little bit so that everything gets in there. And then I'm going to throw the oil in. And I'm going to use this to kind of spin it around, kind of get that oil in there, and try to find a hole in the dough where I can put the yeast. I'm going to put it in there. Where's the lid for this? Okay. And again, I'm going to try to incorporate, scoop it over it. And now it's ready for me to mix it. I'm going to get the not hot, but warm water. It's going to use a 1.5 cups of warm water. And we're going to start mixing it and adding water as we go, and then looking at the texture. And that's really important. It says 1.5 cups, but sometimes you need more, sometimes you need less. It depends on what's going on with the weather, if there's humidity in the weather, if the flour, whatever they made in the flour needs more or less water. So it's one of those things that you have to learn how to figure out by the texture that you get on your dough. And I'll show you that as we go. So I'm gonna pause this in a minute and come back. My fingers are all dirty. Okay, so I've got my water, and this is more than a cup and a half. I kind of almost 2 cups, just in case I need the extra. I already have it here to keep adding. So here we go. I'm gonna put just a little bit, because you don't want the flour to start spilling out all over the place. So we'll just slowly get this going. And you can see how it's starting to lump up. You want to get that yeast and the oil really into the dough. So we're letting that move that all around. I'll give them a little bit more. At this point, we've already used 3/4 of a cup of water, and we still have a very dry dough. Okay, I'm gonna put some more. And I'm gonna increase the speed a little bit. There we go. Now it's gonna really get it mixed in. Could use some more. And see, we still have, I have still half a cup here. And I probably will need to add more. So that's the whole point of, you don't know until you see your dough. So you have what the amount says on the recipe, but you just can't always go by that when you're making anything with, like a bread. So it's still very dry. So I'm gonna add a little bit more, because you don't want it too sticky, but you don't want it too dry. Just a pinch more. And then I'm gonna speed it up so that it binds it all together. It's starting to separate from the walls of the mixer. There we go. And I like my mixer. You can do this without the mixer, but you have to have a good arm. And the reason why I do it with mixer, because then I don't have to knead it that much, because it does the kneading for me. And that's still a dry dough. I'm gonna put just a pinch more. You're gonna see I'm gonna have to slow it down, because it's gonna start flapping everywhere. There. And I want it almost sticky, because when I put it on the counter to, knead it a little bit, I'm gonna want to throw some flour, and that will suck up what other extra that you have put in there. And even if you put too much water, you can always fix it. You can add a little bit more flour to it until you get the right consistency that you're looking for. Here we go. Let's go fast. And I think I need just a hair more. That's why you have to slow it down, because it starts flapping everywhere. And you want all that water to mix into the dough. There we go. Now it's time to knead it in there really good. There we go. Okay. A little bit faster. I think we're good with the water. So, what do I have? A quarter of a cup left. So maybe it was a cup and a half. But it's going to take a little bit for it to bind together. So I'm going to turn this off and let it continue until it's completely dry and sucked in there. And then I'm going to take the dough out, and I'll be back. Okay, so I want to show you the dough, how it looks. And you can see the elasticity in it. It's not too sticky, but it's not dry. It's perfect. This is how you want your dough to look like. Okay? I'm going to clean the counter, and then I'm going to dump the dough on the counter so that we can knead it a little bit. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, I wanted to show you the dough. There we go. And the consistency of it. You see how it is? Where it's nice and elastic and not too dry, but it's not sticking to my hands. That's the consistency that you want. Okay, so we're going to, let me throw some flour. We really don't need much flour because it's not too sticky. If it was really sticky, you would, but right now you don't. So I'm just gonna put a very little bit in there. And I'm gonna get my dough out. Let me put that in with the water in it, please. And then I'm gonna start with the water. Like fill it up with hot water so that it, thank you.
So that we can clean it?
Yeah. Okay. And so now I'm just gonna knead it. And you want to see how when you stretch it, it kind of has like this there. That's what you're needing to get the smooth out and get that yeast activated. This dough is really doesn't need a lot of kneading because the machine does the kneading for you. That's why I love my machine. Okay, now I'm going to make it turn and turn and turn and turn and make a nice tight ball. And what I'm going to do now is get this other bowl out. Find a nice big bowl that you can put it in. And I'm going to spray some Pam on it so that when it rises, it doesn't stick to the bowl either. My stove has a setting, a proof setting, excuse me, that's what you use to put when you're wanting to have your dough to be proof, which is the time that you need for it to rise, and it has a right temperature that the dough needs to help it rise, which I believe is between 70 and no more than 80 degrees. A lot of stoves don't go that low, but if it has the proof, P-R-O-O-F setting, all you have to do is set that for that, and then you just put your dough in the oven, in the proofing setting, and leave it for, you can leave it in for an hour, 2 hours. The point is you want to make it double to rise. If you leave it for 2 hours, it's going to probably be almost as big as this bowl. And that's, you know that your yeast has worked its magic. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it up. Oh. I need your arm to get that out for me, please. Yes. Move it. Yeah. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Now I use these. You can use a towel. You can put like a kitchen towel over it, over the bowl. But you want to keep it covered so that it doesn't dry the dough out either. Now I always buy these little. These are not for your hair. These are actually for the kitchen, and they sell them in different sizes. So this is the largest size that goes over that. And then I have these yellow ones that are for a smaller one, and pink ones for even smaller. Okay, so we're gonna let this rise and set for, I'm gonna leave it for 2 hours. I'll probably take a look at it after an hour, and if it has risen enough, I'll take some of the dough out for us to fry, and then I'll put the rest back so that it continues to rise. So you don't really need to wait till the 2 hours. As long as it's doubled the size, then it's good enough to use to fry. I just like to have it, let it rise fully. And the longer you leave it, the better. It's not going to harm it. You probably have something that looks like it's going to come out of your bowl. But once you take it out of the proofing from that temperature and you knead it again, it comes down in size again. So, okay, we'll be back later. Okay, so it's been an hour, and I took it out of the proofing so that you could see how much it has grown. And as you can see, it's still, this is not big enough. It should be at least to here. So this whole thing up to there, at least, before you start using it. So I'm gonna put the cover over and put it back in for the other hour. And we'll come back. All right, so it's been a little bit over 2 hours. And as you can see, it has come up to this where I thought I needed it to happen, to rise up to. Normally, I like it to rise all the way up to here. Let me see. Can you see where I'm showing? You probably can't. Okay. Normally, I like to rise up all the way up to here. But because I want to get the video done and also fry some of them, I'm going to, this is good enough. And you can see the difference in how it was really a tight dough when we first looked at it, but look how soft this is. See, you can see that it has air in it, and it's a much raised dough. So we're gonna take this out, and I already cleaned the counter. I'm just gonna knead it just a little bit, and see how it shrinks again? But this is good enough. I'm going to cut this in half. And put half of it back into the proofing, because I can make a lot more, and then it'll rise up again. I'm putting this away, and I'm just going to use this half to fry. Now, there's several ways of going about this. You can grab about that much and make a ball, and then we're gonna stretch it. Or you can flatten this out completely, then you roll it up and you cut out the pieces. For today's purpose, I'm just going to do it this way because I want them to really raise when I fry it. So I'm just gonna cut, and see, it's the same amount. And of course, I've got it already down to how to pull it and make sure that I've got the right amount. So it's like 1/2 inch. If you were to roll it out and then roll it up into a log and then cut them into inches, it's gonna come out to this amount. Okay, that should be the right amount of what you want. So I'm pulling the dough. I'm not just grabbing and pulling from here, but stretching out the dough and then cutting that amount out. So you'll learn how to do that once you get used to feeling the dough. And if it's easier to do the other way that I'm saying, go that other way. And maybe later I'll add to the video the other way with the other half, just so that you have both ways. So there's my dough. So let's see, how many did I get? This one's kind of small, came out kind of small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's see. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, this one really doesn't count. Let's just go with 10. That was too small. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, so 10 is good enough. If you do 12, you probably are gonna have small arepas. So we've got that. I'm gonna go get the roller and we're gonna start rolling them out and frying them. Okay, here's my roller. Maybe let's put these in that pan over there that I set up so that. And then I'll keep these here to roll them out. All right, so I'm gonna roll these out. And you want to make sure that you see how it's a little kind of thick on the edges. You don't want to flatten it out too much either. That's a good size. Let me see if the oil is hot enough. I think the oil is hot enough. So I'm going to turn this off and go back. All right, so I think it's recording. Is it recording? It's recording. Okay, so I'm going to put it there. Now it's bubbling. And I need something that I can use to kind of throw some little oil on it to get it to rise. Starting to bubble up. There it is. There it is. Bubbling up. The key here is you want the oil hot enough to make it bubble, but not too hot that it burns. That you end up having to take it out before the dough is it's raw. So you want to, that's where the trick is. And I'm using an electric stove because I don't have a gas stove anymore. So it's more difficult. I'm trying to learn how to use this stove. So you're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to turn this over because you can see it's already starting to brown up. But there is a challenge. Hang on. And I got a dog that's bugging me. So I'm going to have to stop the video because she probably needs to go outside. Okay, I'm back. So here's my next one. And look how nice it's rising. It looks really, really good as it's rising. Look how pretty. Bubbled up, it's starting to brown. It might be a little bit too hot because it's browning before I want it to, but it's what I've got for stoves, so. It's still a little white here. We need to make sure that it gets nice and brown in all sides, but without burning. We'll go with the next one. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit more. And then I'm going to put it in. Get this guy out. And I put it in a basket that I have with paper towel so that it sucks up all the oil. And I'm going to start going with this one. And that's basically it. It's just having the patience. I'm going to need to turn this down a little bit, just a little bit, to fry it and let it rise. Bathe it with the oil. There it goes, rising up. There it is. And then you can eat those with butter, put butter inside. In Puerto Rico, basically we make our beans. And then we eat these with the beans. We put beans inside of it and eat it, or just have a piece of it while we're eating our beans. You can, without making rice. But you can make the rice and beans and have these on the side. Put butter in the middle, or you can put powdered sugar on it and honey inside. However you want to eat these. Or just eat them without putting anything. Just eat it like a piece of bread. There's that one. And that's it. I'm going to get more rolled out and then fry some more. You next.